I'll put a wall. That's painful. I'm shocked she really streets like that. Sorry to hear that. She's fallen already 4 or 5 times on that speed.
Okay, we're live, guys. We'll call this order together, the Board of Public Works and Safety, pledge allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Father God, thank you for all those that are here today with concerns across our city. And we ask now, as we go in this Board of Public Works, you be with those members here today, that their votes and decisions may be for the benefit of our community. These things we ask for your son's name. Thing we need is approval of the minutes. Motion to approve. I'll second. First and a second, all those in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Approval of claims. I know we still need to sign a few of those, but I'll make the motion to approve the claims. I'll second that. All those in favor? Aye. Aye. First thing up, we have somebody here from the Huntingburg Church of Christ. Okay.
Yeah.
You want to come on forward up to the podium, introduce yourself and why you're here.
All right. My name is Ryan Shear. I'm the minister at the Huntingburg Church of Christ. And what I'm here this morning just to present is that this will be our 3rd year that we're going to be hosting what's called a Walk for Water. And that's in the Hunters Crossing subdivision is where that's going to be located. And so I've actually got, if I can give you guys this, it's got a map of where it is.
Yeah, I think we have that.
Do you have it?
Yeah, I think we've got
Okay.
your application.
Okay, very good.
So,
Well,
good.
this also has some other information about it, but it's something that we want to kind of grow every year. But we've done it for 2 years in a row and haven't had any problems in the neighborhood so far. And so just seeking approval to have that location still as something viable. The base where we come out of the Huntingburg Church of Christ is the same place that the Love for Lexi 5K is also located.
We have Officer Mullen has worked on trying to get routes designated for different walks such as this. He has reviewed the map and has approved that a couple days ago, actually. And
Okay,
so if you have any questions as far as safety, the thing that we're looking at is they are not crossing any state highways. Most of the walk is contained within, as you can see the map, within Hunter's Crossing. Most of it, and we have white sidewalks on Chestnut, which will help facilitate some of the walks. I would make a motion to accept the application and forward.
I'll second that.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
All right, great. And
Thank you.
let me just also invite.
Talk a little, I think you need to promote it a little bit.
Yes, I do, because anybody can participate in this. And so say if City Hall wanted to form a team to walk in it
Okay.
and help raise money, or any other organizations in the community or churches for that matter, you're welcome to do so. And I've got some information on that where you can go to the website and just register under our church's name. This is the only Walk for Water in Southern Indiana, and they hold them all over the country, but where you walk 4 miles holding jugs of water, just like children would do in third world countries. Most of them have to walk 4 miles a day just to get a source of water. And so what we're promoting is digging wells in those villages and communities so that they don't have to do that, because they spend half their day just trying to get water for their families. So
Is the registration information on those handouts?
Yes.
Want to get those so we don't have anything.
yeah.
I'm sorry, we're sorry to cut you off there.
No, that's okay. I don't do this very often, so but each one of you can have a copy of this if you like.
Very good programs.
Yeah.
He's made enough money. I know we dug one well last year.
And this separate thing here is for corporate sponsorship. So if you guys know business owners and stuff, or are business owners, to be part of that too. That's what they'll single pay.
All the information.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Great program. Appreciate that.
Yes, it is.
And the city will help you promote that one for the year, September time, right? Kenley's aware of it, so she is on the calendar. to help you with that. Next thing we have, Street Superintendent Jason Stone. We had 3 approvals asking for here today.
Good morning. Any questions on some of the report things? I've got some things to go over and to cover. I'll be everybody's favorite person again today.
It'll probably take a while.
If there's no questions on anything on the report, just a brief update on the projects that we've got going on. The community crossing projects are 2024-02 are up and running. We have started on 19th Street. Since the last meeting, I believe they have completed all the concrete new curb that there was going to be put in. That's all in. The storm sewer is all in. They did some asphalt patching yesterday. I believe that street is basically about to the point where it's ready to be milled and then overlaid. Far as Jackson goes, JBI is a sub for Rudolph on those. They're supposed to be here Monday to start doing curb ramps at Jackson, Walnut. I don't think there's any at Argent. They are on 4th, but JBI will be in to do the concrete work for those handicap ramps. Once they get that done, I know Rudolph did do some deep patching on 4th Street, West 4th yesterday. They have a little bit to do on Argent and Walnut. So once they get the deep patching done, they will come in then with the milling machine and mill all of them at the same time, and then be able to pave them at the same time. So moving along, obviously the weather kind of messes with them a little bit on it. So that's basically the community crossing 2402. 2401 is Rivertown. They've been working down on 2nd Street, and they've been out on Clay. 2nd Street is coming along. A little bit disappointed. I'm not going to lie to you that it's taken as long as what it has. When they came in and met with myself and the engineer, they said they'd be in and out of there in 3 to 4 weeks. Hasn't went that way. But also, I mean, they're still within their time frame of needing to have the project done. I know there's some residents down there getting anxious to be able to get back to their driveway the way they should be or need to. But they've been all the residents down there have been very cooperative with it. They're basically, what they're waiting on down there is they're waiting for Calcar Paving, which is a sub of theirs, to come in and put the base asphalt in the part that they've got dug out down there. Once they get that base in, same type of thing. They're going to wait till Clay Street's ready to go. They'll come in, mill both of them at the same time, and pave both of those at that same time.
You want to cover kind of the asphalt plant situations that are working?
Yeah, part of Calcar's issue that they've been having is they have 2 plants. They have one in Paoli and they have one down in Pike County. The one in Pike County caught on fire and has been out of commission for a good month, probably, maybe a month and a half. So to get all their asphalt, they have to get it out of Paoli, which obviously takes longer. So their jobs that shouldn't take as long are taking a little longer because they got to have farther trucking to get their asphalt there. It also hampers what we try to do with our patching, utility cuts and things like that. We get our asphalt from 2 places, one Pike County and 2 is down here at Dale with J.H. Rudolph. We kind of fluctuate back and forth as to what they're making that day, whether it's base, intermediate, or surface. But now with, only one plant, we've went to Paoli a couple times, but it's a long drive for us to go up there to get a 2-ton dump truck full of asphalt, but, so hopefully they'll get that back up and running here before too long. I think that'll help with them getting their projects done a little quicker too. Schraring Construction did finish the curb and gutter over on, Geiger Street between, 4th and 5th Street. We finished the sidewalk up. That basically that project is all done now, ready to be, the road will be, milled and paved at some point. Other than that, I'll move on to the 3 items that I do have, if you don't have any questions on any of those things.
We will cover First Street later, but that's a wastewater project, so we'll cover that in the wastewater section.
Yeah. First thing I have in my folder is the change order. What that was is it was a change order for Rejuve Tech. It's actually a deduct. So the contract was for $554.24 more than what they actually did. And the reason for it coming up short was out on North Cherry Street. They didn't feel comfortable putting Rejuve Tech down all the way to 64. They felt like it could be a hazard coming down that hill and trying to get stopped at the highway. So they stayed back a number of feet. And that's why they deducted that off of their price. So that's what we have there. Any questions on that change order? It's a good change order for once we get money back. Okay, so if there's no questions on that, Mayor can sign that.
We'll need a motion to approve the change order.
Motion made.
Okay. We have a first and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries.
The next thing on my list is, I applied for a railroad grant, last year, I believe it was awarded that grant. There's different options in the grant that you could apply for. The part I applied for was 100% funded, meaning the city doesn't have to put any money towards it. So basically what it entailed was, I came up with a plan of all the crossings that we have, road crossings that we have in the city outside of the state highway ones. And basically what they'll do is they will come in and put the road markings down on the road, the railroad crossing symbol and all that. And then also put new signs up where they go, railroad crossing signs and that's sort of thing. The engineer's estimate was $30,570 to do this. So with that, all I needed to do was send to 3 companies that do this type of work. So I reached out to Elite Stripers from Evansville, Road Safe Traffic, and Indiana Sign and Barrier. I received 2 quotes back. Indiana Sign and Barrier never did respond or answer. So Road Safe Traffic was the low bidder for $19,900. Elite Stripers come in at $37,950. The reason that I feel like, and I talked with the engineer on this, the reason that I feel like Road Safe was so much cheaper, even than the engineer's estimate, was they're a large, very large company. They work all over the United States. They can probably buy the material and things at a reduced cost to what the other company could. So I feel like that's why. And my previous job that I worked, we worked around Road Safe a lot. I know they do quality work, so it's not like it's a fly by night place. So
Get them all over the state.
yeah, my recommendation would be that the board accept the quote for $9,900. 19,000, sorry, 19,900.
I'll make that motion to accept. I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Any questions on any of that? If not, moving forward, the last item that I have, I believe in your board pack that you got, you have a, papers like this about Biolytics. Biolytics is a company that, and I'll let him come up here and talk to you and explain it a little bit more in depth. And if you have other questions, you can ask him. But with the way the asset management plan is and those type of things with NDOT and with LTAP, we have to do what's called Pacer rating on our streets. And to do these, we physically go out and drive every section of street in the spring of the year, late winter, spring. Right now we have 2 guys that are qualified, certified to do it, myself and Kelly. We actually have a class coming up for this next week. I'm going to send 4 more guys to this class. It's a free class. It's here in Huntingburg, so it doesn't cost anything. But you have to basically you rate all your streets, and from there you submit that with your asset management plan, and then that turns around and helps with the community crossing grants. It's becoming more and more important all the time with the street ratings. And you know as well as I do, anytime you do anything, there's human error in it. You know, I can look at a street, Kelly can look at one, Dustin can look at one, and we can come up with 3 different grades on that street. Biolytics is basically a program and a software, and I'm not very smart when it comes to that stuff. That's why come on up here. I'll let him explain to you a little bit more about how it works and what it entails. So go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning. So Biolytics is a fully integrated road management system backed by artificial intelligence. So as Jason was talking about the subjectivity with rating roads and collecting Pacer ratings, what we do is use iPhones mounted on municipal vehicles. They will drive the roads to collect the Pacer rating data. We take a photo every 10 to 15 feet. So both directions will collect that information. Our algorithm will go through each photo and pick up all distress types on the road automatically. So there's no human interaction. It'll automatically process those images and put it on a GIS map, all color coded by Pacer ratings. And from there, for the CCMG specifically, we can just export our Pacer ratings directly into the LTAP format that they require for federal state funding for those roads. While we are also collecting the Pacer ratings for the roads, we'll also inventory all street signs and manholes and storm drains. Those are all collected when the phone is running. And that is where we kind of fit into a lot of cities, towns, and counties in Indiana for Pacer ratings specifically. But if you have any questions, I'm happy to clarify anything.
One thing I'll say is that the Pacer ratings become more of a competitive issue when we're applying out for these community crossing grants, that we're on par with everybody else. And I know those, whether it be LTAP or other people, chase their standards.
Yep.
We don't have to send somebody back to training. We don't have to do that process. It's all automatically occurred. AI is skeptical on it myself at one time, but I do know that auto industry can now check a finish on the car in fractions of a second that used to take half an hour or so with individuals, and the accuracy is much higher than we have with individuals. So it's just about every major manufacturer from a quality standpoint is using it.
Something I like about this program too is right now we do it once a year. Okay. If we put this phone in, say my truck, I can do it however many and how often as I want. I can get this rating. So let's say, for example, this wastewater project that's going on. I could have ran all those streets in that area that all the construction traffic was gonna be going in and out before the project started, during the project, and after the project, to see how much effect did all the traffic, construction traffic have on all the streets doing that. So I really like that portion of it, that you can really utilize it multiple times throughout the course of the year as opposed to doing it the way we do it once a year. Because when we do it the way we do it, it usually takes us probably close to a week to go out and do this, the manual part of it. You know, and like you said, it's, I like the construction or the being able to do the signs also. Put a sign inventory. I think that's huge. I mean, we have an inventory, but we don't have them. Pictures of them. I mean, I know where they're at, but I don't have pictures of them to see what they look like. That's what this would do. This would help with that. And it would, it also does talk a little bit about the work orders or that type of thing.
Correct, and just like Jason said, we don't cap the city on the amount of data that's collected, so. From the first time it's used to the last time the inspections run, you have all the data on the city roads. You can always reference back to those photos. Tied to this is a full work order system. So all the data we collect automatically can be used for work orders, collecting and tracking any additional assets that we don't detect with AI. That can all be tied together, and then everything is hosted in just that single platform with the Pacer ratings, traffic signs, condition of the signs, condition of the manholes and storm drains, and then all the work orders will be tracked in there. So if there is any reporting that we need to pull on what type of pothole patching we've done within a quarter, we can extract all of that and provide those numbers directly to the board.
If approved, we do plan on following up on our state partners too, and their roadways.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to, if we did, you guys approved to do this, once we get it, I'll drive 231, 64, see what they are, and with what all's going on with the mid states and stuff, with 231 wanting to relinquish it, we can drive it and see basically what their Pacer rating is on it and what needs to be done to it.
There's some kind of training that our guys will have to go through.
I actually handle all training and onboarding for cities and counties. So I come on site, it's just an hour and a half to 2 hours. I'll train everybody on how to use the system, collect the data specifically, and then show the crew how to use the work orders and get everything tracked in the system. So I actually handle all that directly, and I'm here local in Indiana.
What's nice about the work orders thing is, I mean, all my guys get a cell phone stipend the way it is, okay? They can put this on their phone, and if I am out doing this and see a pothole, I can send a work order to somebody right away. It pops up on their phone and they know to go do it. Whereas now I have to write it down, hope I don't lose the note, and then get it to them. So I really like the work order part of it, because it will help have record and be able to make sure that things get followed up on.
There's someone local to us using this.
So I would say the closest to us is we have Spencer, Perry County, Martinsville. I would say similar size networks. Crawfordsville, Fishers is a larger network, but I'd say the closest is Spencer and Perry County.
It's relatively new. I mean, how long have you been out doing it?
So we have been in the United States since 2023. Indiana has become our biggest state, just with the CCMG and LTAP submissions. But we currently have about 25 counties and then about 15 cities currently using this system across the state.
Is there some permanent record of the work orders that are issued, or is this all electronic, or is there a permanent record?
It is permanent record. It is all electronic. We just have a web-based system, so everything is, there's nothing that needs to be placed on servers. It's all web-based, but we keep a historical record of all pavement conditions from when the system started, and then all work orders are permanently stored. Yes.
Don't see a price, how much is?
Yeah,
Yes,
Well, that was my next question. So is it a subscription? So the city would get designated equipment to use for this and then have to pay like a yearly subscription then?
it is just a yearly annual subscription. The contract right here is for a length of 3 years. That is pretty standard for Indiana. There's that, and feel free to pass it along.
If I ain't mistaken, it was it 12,000?
$12,500, I believe, is listed on there.
For the 3-year term or annual?
That's a 3-year term.
3-year term, annual payment. Correct.
Yeah, it's 12,500 a year,
A year.
but when you sign that, you're in it for 3 years, basically.
3 years.
$37,000 commitment for 3 years.
And you basically get the iPhone. There's not a lot of equipment involved with
That's
it.
what I was looking at. So you just get one iPhone basically.
Yeah,
On this order form, it's just one iPhone. The city can get as many as they need to collect the data for the roads. And then all the equipment is insured, so if there's any replacements, anything, we'll just provide those replacements.
So you can take any iPhone and put it, or do you have to have the designated one to?
You don't have to use a Biolytics phone. If you have a set of phones in the city that you would prefer to use, we can put those on the city phones to collect the data. So there's a couple options you have there. But the equipment is just iPhone mounts for the vehicles, and then just associated charging cables, some Bluetooth features just to help collect data smoother.
My biggest concern is just what's costing some and Carrie looked at that. We can show a return, I think, the advantage of it and really I looked at is more and more when I see the changes in community crossing, the way the PACER ratings are being calculated, and that's, I wouldn't be surprised if it changed more than once in the next year. LTAP is way behind on updating anything they do, and when they do update their standards, who knows? I mean, we could be facing major changes and retraining of everybody. And
well, they're
I wanna make
also
sure we're competitive with other people that are doing the community crossing.
LTAP with this PASER rating. They're also making you something new this year is you have to pick 5 streets or 5 sections of streets that were PASER rated, and you have to have a certified PASER rater go out and check those 5 to see if his numbers agree with what you rated it at. That's something new. I guess they're trying to do it for like a checks and balances. Make sure that communities are doing it properly, or
What is a certified PASER rater? I mean.
you just have to you have to take an extra class through LTAP.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the thing I did ask was, can you be your own PASER? Can I be our certified person for Huntingburg?
Right.
And their answer is yes, which to me doesn't make a lot of sense. But right now, as it stands right now, that's the way it is. Now, that's not to say down the road that won't change, but if you go to an automated system like this, I think that's, in my opinion, that's what they're trying to force people into doing. You know, is
More hoops.
yeah.
Yeah. So does the program trump a certified rater?
Yeah, I think, I'm not 100% sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that it would,
Sure takes subjectivity out of it.
yeah,
Correct.
exactly.
There is no subjectivity with our rating. It is all just run through our algorithm, and so there is no.
So much happening at PennDOT right now, we don't know what they're gonna require probably a year from now. Things. Yeah, there's a lot of things being talked about. I think that this will help us stay ahead of that curve. And
I like the fact that any of your employees, if they see a pothole, can get on their phone. That way everybody in the department knows about it.
And I'm happy to stay after, don't want to take too much time, but I can show you Crawfordsville or Fishers, just to give you an example of what the network looks like, how we can identify all the potholes within the city. I'm happy to stick around after.
It's really, I mean, I was at a session over at Ferdinand on this, and that's where I kind of got on board with it, and they showed a video of actual, the footage of the car driving down the road and what it sees and all that. It's pretty impressive. I mean, it really is. So. Any other questions? Okay.
Is this something you want to make a decision on today or?
I would like to, but I don't want to force you into it. Don't feel like I'm forcing you into it. That's why I tried to send you the information ahead of time so that, if we can, we can. If not.
I'm very interested in pursuing this. I think that really right now with the skeleton board today, taking 3-year commitment, I suggest we table it to the next meeting for a full board, all 5 members to vote. And ask you to stay after to answer our questions afterwards that we might have to move forward. That would be my suggestion.
Thanks, Taylor.
Like your program, we just have to weigh the economics of it, so. Of course. Okay.
Any questions on anything else?
Okay, Water Superintendent Brad Coomer.
Wastewater?
I'm sorry, Wastewater Superintendent Brad Coomer. Thank you.
Good morning.
One's that.
I'll start out with Division A. Everything's moving quite along. Concrete pours, I did a pour yesterday. They're planning on doing another pour on Friday. As you can see, the concrete trucks coming in out of town a lot. They're trying to do 2 pours a week. They're still working on the bottom wall. There's 2 sections I call the lower level and the upper level. They're different sizes. They've started to set panels and rebar on the second towards the south east. Here at the park, you can see how tall that's going to be. It's going to be a pretty big tank, but everything's moving quite along as planned there. Other than that, the guys will be on Oakwood. We found a lot of sinkholes come up. We'll be working on some sinkholes in town, and then also out at Oakwood, the driveway that kind of collapsed in. We thought it was backfill, wasn't properly installed. We did find a little leak in our pipe. We'll do that. We'll have to pour the driveway back. If you have any questions on that, I don't think it'll be too much. Moving along with that, I don't have it on here, but I know I've talked to you guys a couple of times about a 2-ton truck for the wastewater that will help with sludge hauling and point repairs and doing everything. We want to rent one. Done a lot of research and talked to a lot of different people on this. I've got 3 used trucks here. There's a couple of them over in Ohio that are 2018s. One of them 76,900. The other one's 80,900, I think. The difference is manual transmission and an automatic transmission. And then I do have a 2025 used one that's 115,000. 25 or 2025 used? Used, yes. New ones are anywhere from 120 to $160,000. I would like permission to purchase the 2018 for 80,900.
Can we accept quotes or does that have to be bid?
If it's under 150, you can accept quotes. He has three quotes, but is that you got quotes from these? I just got 3 different trucks. Yeah. Oh. So it's kind of hard to get a quote on. So if the board can, you usually have to have 3 quotes. You have to request 3 quotes. Even if you only get one, you have to at least solicit them. But if there's an opportunity to acquire this at a substantial savings, that's an exception to the quoting rule. But you have to find as a board that there is an opportunity here to acquire this
piece of equipment at a substantial savings and therefore dispense with the quoting process. And award the contract to the vendor who he's determined.
If I'm correct, during the plant expansion, we included.
There is a possibility, we did have this in the plant A for some equipment. If we do have funds available after everything's done, we could get reimbursed for this. The possibility too, which we have some other equipment in there too, we're trying to purchase with that. But I do have some pictures of it here or whichever. Obviously I would want to go see it in person, but it's just looking on the internet, talking to other people.
The one in Kentucky called.
I looked at one in Kentucky, it is cheaper, but it has a salvage title. Which I wasn't aware of, and insurance is kind of gonna be an issue there, I think.
It will be an issue there.
Yeah,
I didn't think that was a good idea.
yeah, I know I talked to Dustin a little bit about it, I have some more to tell you, but we've been trying to do that. I can wait, we can. You know, but obviously, you know, if I have somebody come in here and like Love or anybody and mailing, they could charge about 125 to 150 an hour to do that. So it's some savings we can use there. I talked to Dan and both Curly. Both on the same page. We need it.
Something that's used often that will get around
Correct.
good usage, it has to. And with the expansion of the plant operations, it becomes more important. We have to make it equipment to take care of that. I would be in favor of making the purchase and make that. Questions? Which bid, I think we have to look at which quote.
I think we'll go with the automatic transmission, just being around town.
think
And,
it's good.
you know, I mean, it's $4,000 more, but you guys say you want to get a manual and save $4,000 and fine with that too, but I would recommend the 2018 for 80,900. It was just reduced $5,000 2 days ago.
So we'll make a motion on the automatic transmission.
Second.
Got a first and second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, thank you. Next thing is
Tom, you put in the minutes, the determination that opportunity for substantial savings.
Okay, obviously, if I get there and there's something we don't like about it.
But you have those quotes, yes.
Yeah, I have 3. I should that too. Okay. Division D interceptor line, there is a certificate for substantial completion. Everything's been installed as of infrastructure. Not roadway, but that's totally separate, so. I don't know if we have any questions on giving substantial completion. We did a punch list, they're working on that, but we need to sign that. Anything else we can do with substantial completion?
So our engineers recommend certifying substantial completion.
Yes,
Accepting it.
yes.
So that at this point, once substantial completion is accepted or recognized, then it becomes ours to use and to maintain. And I think it's a warranty period started.
There's a 1-year warranty, so substantial completion would have been April 22nd, 2025.
May.
So, or May,
May 22nd, 2025, within
Okay.
the 11-month walkthrough of the warranty period on April 22nd or April 22nd, 2026.
That doesn't include the road, right?
that does not include the road.
Everything in the ground basically.
Correct,
Everything is operation.
correct. Bypass pumping, well, you know, next board meeting, we'll work on that. Or taking over that, but. We'll need signature and approval for that. For substantial.
I make a motion, we accept. I have read the documents, but
I do have the certificate, you guys want to see it.
you'll have some documents there too in your claims because substantial, almost substantial completion on the pipe delivery system there. They will also be eligible for 5% retention. That's part of it. Contract with that portion. We seem to be under budget right now.
We are under budget,
So quite a bit actually.
which is good. Hopefully we'll talk about that more here in a little bit.
We had a person second on the substantial completion certification. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Passes.
Okay, final thing, the First Street roadway. I know it's dusty, I know it's a mess. It's part of construction sometimes, but I apologize. I know there's people here, for the dust. We're working on that. We have a couple options. Our main option and goal there is to make that roadway better than what we tore it up as. That is the initial plan. Obviously some of the equipment tore up some stuff on there and we're looking to replace that. Their contract is to put asphalt back in the trench. Cut it out, put asphalt in it, be done. We do have contingency funds and some extra funds that we're trying to negotiate with Cooper on putting concrete back in. Obviously, what comes with that is some time to get the numbers negotiated. We've been doing that for quite a while now, going back and forth on that. We tried to have it here this morning, get it approved, but we couldn't get that done. So basically, option one, if you guys want asphalt in there, we can have asphalt in there in 3-4 weeks probably. And then we'll have an asphalt patch down the road and be done with it. That is their contract. That's what they're responsible to do. Two is we can put asphalt in there and then possibly the street department come in and dig the asphalt out. And we can use the extra funds to purchase the material. So we bid material out for concrete. Street department, city would be responsible for the labor for the concrete back. As an option. The main option is what I would like to do is would improve the road the most, but obviously it's going to be more of a time consuming deal. Is to have Cooper come in there, replace some of the panels that are broke and bring the roadway to better shape than it was, which is our main goal, is to put concrete in there. I don't have that number now, but we are negotiating on that. And I don't know if that's something we can call a special meeting if we have that number in a week, or if we can we approve, if we have funds accountable for this project, can we go ahead and approve that to give them the go ahead?
No, we need to, it'd be a change order and the board would need to approve it. Okay.
So
We have plenty of grant money available to do that. I think in the interim, temporary fix now to keep the dust down.
yeah, so temporary fix now,
Let's
depends
cover
if
that
we want
first,
to
probably.
do the concrete. Is hopefully they're down there, depending on the rain, is trying to fix potholes today and stuff like that, but I do have the county coming over to put, they call it a fog dust representative. I think at the Jubatech, it's kind of almost the same thing to put on roads. They're gonna come over and do that. They're not gonna charge us for the labor, just the material. So we can get, with the rain, possibly tomorrow, depending on rain, they can go down through there and put that down and help keep the dust down. However long it'll last, I don't know, but it's something we can try to help out.
Well, we could do it again, correct, if it needed to be done.
We can also look at,
Material's about $2,700.
yeah, which is
Okay.
not much, 3,000 gallons or something. But we can also look at possibly doing no parking on the sides, maybe trying to keep people on the parking lanes off the center, would help some too, but
So how long would it take if we do?
if we do the concrete, probably, hopefully they get here in August. It's gonna be, the problem is you tear out all the rock, compact it, put your dowels in, pour the concrete, it's gotta sit there. So we'll probably close blocks down. Probably a week at a time.
You're gonna be down
Gotta
about
cure.
7 days, so that's 4.
So time frame, hopefully get started in August and then hopefully be done September.
Our contract
Mid-September?
requiring to be done in September, so
Hey,
as it sits now, would be September.
Which of the
30th.
roadway extends.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can extend
the
that.
portion between Jackson and Van Buren is asphalt now,
So the plan is there to do a total mill and overlay
asphalt.
asphalt.
Yeah.
So if we do get this numbers right correctly, hopefully CalCar is gonna be on Second Street coming in a couple weeks. They can move directly over to First when they get done and then go to Clay possible. They may go to Clay and then come back over. So we could get Jackson in front of the plea. Jackson, basically the radius of Jackson heading east of Van Buren paved. And then obviously we just have Van Buren to Cherry. To do the concrete.
I would like to be able to wait to make final determination. Some of that, those costs are, there were some things that were figured in twice, we've been charged twice for rock and I don't know what all, but there were some areas in the calculations we felt were substantially off. Our engineers felt substantially off. And on that type of project, you should be a lot closer than that. And we did $2 million worth of road work last year and we were within $20,000, on estimates. This one's off considerably more on a smaller project. So we know that there was some issues there. And what I'd like to do, be able to do, and I'm going to request to then be reconvene an emergency session to make the approval once we get the final numbers. I'll make that decision today. That hopefully we're hoping to get it today, but it could be next week.
Hopefully have a
I think
number
next
and-
week, I think next week is doable.
What's the holdup?
But
Is it Cooper or their subcontractor?
No, it's negotiation price and what they're accountable of doing and
We're not talking a couple $1,000s here. We're talking a lot of money. So, we have the money to do these things, but, we're too far off to really be prudent, with taxpayer dollars, make sure, even though it is a grant from the federal government and taxpayer dollars too. So we want to make sure that, we're prudent with that. We do have, I think in the beginning of this project, estimated at 5 million, it's probably going to be about 3.5, 3.6, somewhere in that range, plus a little bit of contingency that we spent on this project. So we are way under budget in this. We have 4 million of that 5 million that we had available to us was grant. The other million was loan money. It'd be my desire not to have to spend the loan money and be settled with a 20-year loan, even though it's a 0% interest. Also want a road that is better than what it was before the project started. So
Does
those are
USDA
goals.
have to approve it?
What's that?
Does USDA have?
SRF.
SRF.
And Eric's been contacted.
USDA approves all.
Yeah, so
On this one, it's SRF, so USDA is more involved in the
division.
Whatever we can do to speed along, because those residents along First Street have been very patient.
Yes, I get it. That's why I'm trying to get the county over to hopefully put a sealer over there to help with the dust.
We'll keep doing, if we have to reapply sealer, we'll keep reapplying, do what it takes to keep it. So I just think that we need to authorize Brad to make that decision as need be, moving forward, utilizing, those funds that we have left within the budget, the line item that we haven't spent, go towards keeping that dust down.
I think the third option with concrete is the best way to go. I don't think that road bed from Van Buren to Cherry is too conducive for asphalt. I think there's issues down there. Yeah, so it's not gonna last. If you
Now that asphalt patches is it would hold up, because that's got all rock.
does it, okay.
Our initial plan was hopefully was to possibly tear the concrete out with asphalt. But it's soil underneath was not
Right, yeah,
handle asphalt, so.
I've heard that before.
That's why we're out of putting concrete back and make the best we can, but obviously. Time is considered there.
I like your other option too. You can't keep the dust down. I know it's frustrating for them just to put something down the center and don't allow parking. And you could also put a little bit of asphalt in your cutouts on the side.
Yeah.
Then there wouldn't be too much dust. I think that would help.
And that may be something we can look at too, Jason and I can get together and put some base in the cuts for the laterals. going down through there.
That would help, that would
Not
help
too
control the
many.
dust if all the cars were constantly driving.
Do
no
that,
Parking.
do the center.
I've noticed when I drive down through there, if there's no cars parked, there's not a lot of dust. It's mainly when they get in the rock in the
I
center.
think
And if
most of those houses have parking, off-street parking, so there's not a lot of, maybe between, Washington and Cherry, there's parking.
We have,
There's, and mostly parking during the day is the daycare down there.
Daycare.
Now you couldn't close that off because they have.
But obviously there's no houses there, so dust, their vehicles just get dusty.
and the daycare does have the option of parking in a main street lot, if need be that discussions happen, if they need to park it.
So we do consider the concrete, we can look at maybe Jason's fine with it, putting a little base and the laterals going across. And keeping people on the south side and north side of the road, and then we can also do the fog from the county down the center, hopefully keep the dust down.
Is there any reason you cannot proceed with the asphalt on, Jackson to Van Buren?
We're trying to negotiate the numbers right there right now. His initial was to just do the trench, and now we're trying
Oh,
to,
you're doing.
with the funds, we're just gonna mill the whole street and do a whole overlay, so it's a totally new street. I mean, we can tell them to put. just go ahead and
Negotiations
do
are
the
taking a little longer, but it's a shorter period than being able and getting approval through SRF than it would be just rebid the whole project. And, you know, we don't.
And that's awesome. We can go and
You're
rebid.
adding another couple of months to the project. But we know what those costs are gonna come in at anyway. We know the price of asphalt, we know the labor, based upon tonnage, what it's gonna cost. It needs to stay within that line. And when you're 40 or 50% above that, we know there's a problem. So, that's it, so. And if you remember, some of you that have been around for a while, when the police station's built, because of soil conditions, they had to put piers underneath that surface in order to support it. And any construction that's happened along that area is the same way. We dig a hole at City Park, water comes up out of it, so there is a very low water table, very high water table, excuse me, there, that area.
Any questions or any input? I'd be glad to.
And Glenn Kissling.
Please, Ruth would like to comment, I believe.
Oh, we need help.
Yeah.
We do. We're just so much dust down there. It is pitiful. I can't even sit on my porch.
Yeah.
My flowers are covered with dust. Something's gotta be done.
We are hopeful that what's being done today will take care of the dust for now. But moving the project as quickly as we can forward, you know, we have asphalt, we have contractor issues and timing issues of getting contractors out right now. But we'll move it as basically as quick as we can. We're under a time crunch too, and I don't want to deal with this anymore. I don't think any of us do. And you know, we have our engineers here, and we know how many times we tried, you know, we discuss options and can crunch the numbers and look at it. You know, what I want to be clear is it is, even though it is a financial situation, we have the money to do it. But we need to be, the money that we've been given by our federal government to handle that, we need to make sure that it's spent properly. We don't want to waste it and pay somebody a couple $100,000. It doesn't make sense. So, and we want a roadway that'll still last better than what we had before we started. Because frankly, it was rough before it started, you know, that with the panels and lateral cuts. Yes, Mr. Kissing.
Before we do this, have we done all the laterals to the houses, make sure their sewers intact, so not
Yep.
take it up?
Taking it at least to the curb, right?
Everything's to the curb, everything's been cambered, everything's been curbed.
How come I cannot flush my toilet when we have a hard rain?
When we have a hard rain, we still back up. The new plant is not online. We're still running on the old plant. We do have the infrastructure there to get it there. We don't have the plant to treat it. So it is better than what it was. I will say that. You probably have a check valve in your lateral.
I do.
Yep, so, you know, once that line comes up, it does stop, so it don't come in your house. Granted, but you only have so much capacity from that check valve to your toilet where you can't flush anymore. And I apologize that, but as soon as we can get that new plan online, that will be fixed.
Is that gonna be done?
It's gonna be this time next year. Granted, when we're running capacity, we had that rain event a month ago. We ran almost 30 million gallons through that plant over the weekend. It's
You're gonna build all these apartments yet, add on to it? Yeah.
which we have the capacity to run all that,
Yeah, those,
obviously.
the housing expansion was figured into the calculations for that. It's also calculated into the rate. We assume that those people are gonna be paying wastewater rates too, so the rates and as well as the capacity. We're going for what, from 1.4 to 8 or something?
We're going to 1.1 to 3.5
3.5.
MGD with a peak of 9.5.
Yeah, so we can, even those 8 million gallon days aren't gonna be what they are
And
now.
what is the design? We designed that today and then the future plan. Do you remember
Yeah,
what the
20
number?
years,
How many?
20.
20 years of expansion, so.
And when you're seeing the problems is in that peak time, so that's in the wet weather flow capacity. So you're substantially increasing that capacity over what you have right now.
Correct.
But like you're saying, the issue that you have in the interim till the plant is done is you still have to surcharge back in those sewers because there's nowhere for it to go. So we've got more capacity to get it to the plant. We just don't have the plant done yet. But I mean, you're dealing with a $30 million plant. It takes a year and a half to 2 years to build that.
And right now we do have some flow meters on there. When we bring it online early, probably that'll help, but I'd say it's gonna be this time next year, but. And we're managing as much as we can. We're down there. We're adjusting pumps to get that water in as quick as we can.
Our crew stayed there during the spring rains 24 hours. Slept at the plant, they were there trying to regulate and move that water around as much as we can. We had a little water coming out of one of the manholes and some in the ditch, but not what we've seen a year ago at this time. We had around 30 million gallons in about a 30
million gallons,
plant. It is designed
For 3.3 million.
in a 3-day period. So this will be substantial improvement that people will see down through there, and we could build 500 homes, and it wouldn't impact the capacity there.
Just as a reminder, if you want to set a special meeting, we need a 48-hour notice. If you think that we'll have information by next Thursday, you could set a special meeting today for next Thursday if you wanted to. But and it's kind of risky because you may not have.
Yeah.
Let's wait until we get the number.
Okay,
I was gonna say, I won't be in town next Thursday.
and we'll need a quorum too, so.
So we'll look at, we do have members, and we do need at least 3 of 5 members present, and
I've discussed with Dan and Curly on First Street. If that's what you guys want to proceed, it's putting concrete back and making it the best we possibly can. And then doing what we can to keep the dust down on First Street.
That's course.
I think it is, because if you go back in there with asphalt in a year after you put it in, it's gonna look like crap. You're just gonna have people griping again.
Then we gotta find funds to fix it. Do that later.
I think if we can keep the dust down, which that'd be frustrating if I think it's on there too.
very important part of this. And the funds available to do it now. We just have to see.
We gotta wait, the county's doing that now, so. Worked out. Depending on rain, we can hopefully get it done tomorrow, but. Not gonna say it's not gonna be dusty, but as soon as we notice dust picking up and we get the county to. Get a plan to get over here and do that. It's not gonna happen. ASAP, I'm sure at some point. We'll do what we can. Or if we had to get a water truck or try to do something to put water, I don't know how long that's gonna last, but.
Well, the rain didn't hold it down very long, so. Because we had that discussion, oil is not really an option because. It would be too much of a mess for everybody, and it didn't impact the existing concrete services and long term, so that's not a viable option. So, but there are some treatments that we can bring in now. Thanks to the county for offering that and actually making it available to us. We don't have the trucks, or we would do it ourselves.
Correct.
We don't have the equipment to make that happen. They do. That's it.
That's the route we wanna pursue then. Do we need to? make a motion?
I've already, we don't really need a motion other than the fact that I made a suggestion we table it. I think there's consensus here. And we continue to work, keeping the dust down, whatever measures that takes,
Definitely.
making sure that, we have good numbers with quotes. Thank you to Commonwealth for their hard work on that. And, you know, we meet frequently, and, Taylor with Brad, and I'm frequently with myself too, on keeping updated on where we're going on that. We get daily updates. I think we're close. I don't think we're far off. A lot closer than we were a week ago.
Yeah.
Coming up with an exact number of, from a cost standpoint, and moving forward with it. It will not, cannot be next year. We won't put up with that. Everybody says, oh, it's gonna be next year. No, it's not. Funding ends at the end of this year anyway.
We're trying, we're doing the best we
So
can.
that's there, and we're gonna do with the funding we have. There's rumors that we're broke. No, we have a lot of money available to us to make the job. We just need to make sure it's the correct job, it's the correct treatment, and that we're responsible with the funds that we have available to us. And we'll do that because everything, I think from a positive standpoint, I just want to give kudos to Brad Coomer right now, to Commonwealth, that with a project like this, that's the tens of millions of dollars that we have, there's always changes, there's always glitches, but we've been change orders have been very, very minimal. We've actually had a change order as a deduction. Our line items are staying within budget right now. They have been on, they will end up that way on Division B. Hopefully in Division A, we're on track to be able to keep those things in line. You don't have projects like this without cost overruns normally. And at the rate, as hard as this is being worked right now, we're not gonna be, this will not be one of those projects with cost overruns. It's, hopefully there'll be some savings in the end. Hopefully. So that's the goal. It's not-
You guys have anything else?
We have available to us.
Homeowners, I know, I mean, I appreciate your patience. I know it's not fun, but
It's running out.
yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't think you've got much patience left.
No,
So
I
I
haven't.
understand that.
No.
I do, and I don't want to make light of it. Hey, you know, and I drive through there every day too, and I have a black car, so I know.
And you know, with the Palmer's game and all them buses and all them cars going, terrible.
I apologize, but we'll try to make it better and takes time.
I hope so. Or I'll be back.
Yeah, if you have anything, call me, and we'll go from there. You guys good?
Good.
That's good. Thank you.
Thanks, Brad.
Police Chief Brad Kramer, we have some
Good morning.
resignation.
Yep, first thing first, just the accepting voluntary resignation of Officer Cole Meyer.
Motion to accept that resignation.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Right, motion carries. Resignation has been accepted.
With that being accepted, I'm seeking approval for a conditional offer for Logan Brown. He's sitting in the back row next to me back there. He came to us as a reserve. I got that approval late last year, and then by the time he got out of the Marines and came back to Du Bois County, he was sworn in February 21st of this year. He showed tremendous interest in this field. He's working as a mechanic now down at Sternberg's and Dale. I think it's safe to say he needs a change of pace. Now he served as a
Helicopter maintenance too, don't you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, he served as a crew chief in the Marines. So going from that job to changing oil and vehicles is tremendously different. So,
Read your resume, is very impressed with your past experience, especially with Marines and, what you did there. Thank you for your service and, I don't know if anybody else has any questions about his qualifications, but, definitely he has them. There. I would make a motion to approve conditional offer of employment, to Logan Brown. I'll say. All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Bill, I had a question on this. So can we do a swear in pending the approval of his perf?
Sure, yeah.
Do we need a motion today on that?
No, once you approve the conditional offer, he can be sworn in.
Okay.
He essentially can't take official duties until he's passed the perf.
Okay.
Everything's conditional employment until then.
Yeah. So Logan's set for perf exam for tomorrow morning. And there's a potential that he could go to the academy in July, depending if everything works out just the way we want it. If not, he will go to the academy in January. He does have a spot then. So we are 6th on the waiting list. So hopefully a couple of the people in front of us can get bumped out. But the last thing I have, and I don't know if this is gonna come up in July. I'm sure it will, just based off of the billing cycle. So the canine project that we've been working on, Officer Shin goes to that training June 30th. They bill after the canine selection, which is right in that time frame of, is it gonna hit the July Board of Public Works meeting or not? I don't know. I'm sure we'll get the bill before then, I'm hoping. But the quote that I have, and I'll give you guys a copy of it, is 18,870. We did get a $7,500 grant towards this. And then the other portion of it, the other 11,370 is going to be made by donation. So to be no funds coming out of our budget or anything like that. And that's just a quote, so
I think we could make,
it should be somewhere around there. Shouldn't be much more than that.
can we take it as a quote or does it have to be actual?
I think you can approve not to exceed whatever chief feels comfortable with, if he feels comfortable with not to exceed 20,000 or 19,000.
Yeah, that should be the price. I'm saying, give or take, maybe 100 or 2, but
Any differences will be made up through donations.
Yeah.
So I would like to say price not to exceed the 20, I think is contingent too on, selection of the dog and.
Yeah.
The graduation of Officer Jen through the program.
Yeah. And there are
Not
health
gonna pay until
guarantees.
those things occur, right?
There is a 1-year health guarantee on those dogs. So if something happens in that first year, then we can go back to them and get a different dog. The only problem is we have to send the dog back through the training. So we hope that doesn't happen, but that is a possibility when dealing with canines. So, but everything else is ready to go for them. We have everything. We're just waiting on the dog.
I'll make that motion to not exceed $20,000 and contingent upon selection of the dog as well as Officer Chen's participation in the training.
I'll second.
Yeah, first and second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That motion carries.
Sounds good. You guys got any questions for me?
Thank you
Anything
for
else?
your work there.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Fire Chief Don Hine. Slow for some reason. There it comes. I know we had some concern earlier in some of these calls. It looks like we're down a little bit.
Last month
Last
was,
month.
we were back down to actually below norm, historical norms. But it's about half of what we've been doing for the last 9 months. Last 9 months, we were double that, which is way more than we've normally done.
Becomes a budget buster after a while.
Yes, it does.
Emergency calls. We're seeing the trend across the county, city of Jasper. I've had conversations with them. You just have, we're gonna have more emergency calls, more assist calls.
Yeah, it's not just EMS, it's everything. Our fire related runs, auto accidents and fires are also upward trends.
Steve, you went to the council.
Yes.
For that automatic, when is that potentially gonna take effect?
The county is hoping in August, Jasper and Huntingburg, we might try for July. We're the ones that are ready. Some of the other departments are kind of going back and forth on what their response would be to each other, and the Jasper and Huntingburg are on the same page where we know what we need and we know how it's going to work. So dispatch has to do some computer issue stuff on, like, if someone calls where they're located, and make some of those adjustments in their system. So we don't know how long that'll take. But the last meeting we had, the chiefs meeting 2 weeks, well, it was the last week, Tuesday. When was the last council meeting? Last week?
Yeah.
So it was last week, we had a chiefs meeting after the council meeting. And he said, once he gets that done, we should be able to go. But I have to go back to the council. We had a few line items we were gonna kind of talk about. So.
And this is just kind of a change in the mutual aid agreement that we presently have.
And the mutual aid agreement will still exist. Like if Ferdinand needs help and we have a tanker and they need a tanker, they're gonna call us and we'll go. This is just any active fire or presence of smoke. It's a dual automatic, 2 departments get called out at the same time. So we don't have that time delay of getting to scene, realizing that you need assistance. And then there's another wait period for that department to get to their department. And so we're cutting valuable minutes off. And we're both responding at the same time. They would get there first, we would get there, and we would be their backup or whatever, their RIT team or whatever they need. Power.
You don't want to get to the fire and then realize you need a tanker, and we have one at Huntingburg. So different situations occur. There's been some examples where they would have been beneficial.
Any other questions? No? All right.
Well, I don't have one. Will ask you back up here because I'd like you to talk a little bit about you did do something last month out here. Public education, I think, has been a big first point of what you're doing, if you want. I know you've had some events with the schools and planning some, so.
Are you the family day or the?
Yeah.
Okay, so last month we had our 2nd annual, we can now say that, not inaugural, but annual, family day. We did a bicycle rodeo and
promoted bicycle safety. We had, we promoted, CPR. We had a CPR station. We had our fire trucks out and, it was well attended. The police department helped us out. I think everybody that was there, firefighters and police, we had a great time, and I think we had a lot of good comments from our residents. We actually had people from other communities come over as well. So it was, I think we probably had, I'm gonna guess over about 600 people that showed up. Ran out of hot dogs and we had a good time. And so that was and that goes into our public education, and that's also a contributing factor when we look at our ISO scores. Are we out in the community? This is community risk reduction. You know, we have these electric bikes are more and more common. They're super fast. We promoted helmets. Anybody that came and did not have a helmet, they left with a helmet. So hopefully that knowledge carries on. If they do get one of those electric bikes, they're wearing a helmet. Those things are fast, faster than what kids are normally on a bike. So promoted that. It was a good day. We also rewarded kids, one kid from each grade, K through 5, at Huntingburg Elementary for their academic growth and good behavior. A couple of firefighters, we picked them up in a unique school bus and gave them a ride to school. It was a good program, but it wasn't on good grades. It was on growth, because growth comes with working hard. So it was fair to everybody and the teachers, and also good behavior. That was also a part of it as well. But it was a good. We had a good time with that. The teachers enjoyed it. The kids enjoyed it, and so did the bus drivers. We enjoyed it as well.
We have a long meeting here, but I thought it was important you bring that up because prevention it's huge, right?
Yeah, it's always huge for us, and we got some more activities coming up and civic education and being out there, and again partnering with the police this coming month in July with our kids camp. We'll have a helicopter and conservation law and our police department and fire department doing some activities with our camp.
Thank you. I appreciate both departments' participation in all these events. So now, Paul, I guess I'll ask you to walk up here twice. I know it's a long meeting, but we want to give kudos to our police and fire department throughout site education like that. So
I understand. Good morning. Everybody received the report? Building permits. Was driving through 100th Crossing before yesterday. They've got one lot left. So it's there off Abbey Lane, and I think that's the last one they've got to build out. I don't have a permit on it, and I haven't seen any. I saw some stuff out there for a while, made me think they were going to go ahead and be pouring a slab on it and do it as a spec home, but I've not seen anything since then. So code enforcement. I was sorry to see the rain this morning, because up into with it being a little drier last week, it was just the dandelions that were the problem. With the rain, the grass will catch back up to it, but it was fairly busy May. The report looks a little bit different to you because on the last page, it gives you a report that gives you a breakdown of what those violations actually look like. Is it grass? Is it junk, trash, and debris? Is it furniture outside? Things of that nature. The numbers that you see on that, the total for that is versus the total of number of notices of violation will never equal each other. And that's partially because some of the notices of violation are ongoing cases or case notes or things like that. So any questions? Okay. Thank you.
Let's just say our notices are way up. They were up last year, they're way up from this year over last year too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe one day we'll get a handle on it, but it's not good.
Yeah, no,
Well,
and
we continue doing it, and you can see there was 73 actually violation counts for 429, 262.
And if you look at some of the addresses on the report, it's the same ones we had each, several, more than a few of them are the same ones we had problems with last year, so. Yeah, thank you.
So, Deputy Director Brown.
Good morning. Does anyone have any questions on the report?
You make things sound so simple in here, but continuing the renewal information, general liability insurance.
So we actually,
There's a lot of risk assessments and a lot of paperwork involved in what they
Yeah.
call it. That. You have 3.
3 or 4, I think. German American got bought out by the Hill Group. I think that happened last year. So actually this year when we're renewing, we have a lot more choices and a lot more people that want to underwrite us. And potentially, so I'm hoping that helps our rates overall, but it's been a lot of questionnaires and paperwork and different things like that, so.
Basically doing a whole risk assessment of the city for each application.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of work involved there. Appreciate your time involved in that. Hopefully it'll save us money and get us with a good company in the end.
And then the park, we are finally, Park and Rec started this week and the pool's been up and running for a couple of weeks and we haven't had any issues. We've had a couple of saves so far, but everything's been routine and, got some compliments on how they handled that and, took it very seriously, so. No, that's 2 or 3 months in a row now, so. They're doing good. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you. City Attorney.
I have nothing.
Or Treasurer Tom Dipple. Got nothing. You need signatures before you leave.
Yeah.
So, any items from the board?
Here.
Any other citizen items today? We have, Mr. Kissling.
Yes,
Thank you.
where's Jason? Do we the city take care of the trailer park Second Avenue? Or does that take care of private?
Inside,
Yes,
nope, that's private.
okay. Someone called me and said they put speed bumps in there yesterday. I didn't know if we did that or not.
No.
It's not our problem. then.
We go across the bridge back there about 50 feet, maybe, that's it.
Now, barely make it past the bridge before you're into their private area. Okay, any other items? I hear a motion to adjourn.
Motion made.
I'll second. Got first and second, all those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Thank you, motion carries, it's adjourned.
Signature.
Okay, Ron.